The project presents the opportunity to make large bodies of work, lots of different sorts of objects, and to work with extremely rare, odd and interesting things from the past. It's also an opportunity to work in the most unbelievable architectural setting and to play around with historical contexts, to take objects with a lot of history and put them into very blank white spaces, and to create new work for very historically loaded and complicated environments. They're extremely valuable objects. In fact, Chatsworth have been so generous, they've loaned works that are of, incalculable value, things that are extremely rare. You have to treat them with, it's not like having something refabricated, because of course the value is in its history. Choice of the objects at Chatsworth was at first pretty daunting. There was endless amounts of stuff that was offered, that they have, and so much of it is fantastic. There are sort of world-famous paintings, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of old master drawings by Leonardo da Vinci, by Raphael and so on. But my interests are very much related to architecture, and they're very much related to decorative arts. And so it's not easy to say no to a Raphael. But the reality is that I had to be very, very focused, because if not, we were going to end up with an exhibition that was about just the best stuff that Chatsworth has on a very canonical measure. Good taste was a demonstration of wealth, and I was very interested in the objects from that time because they have a naive charm. They really want to impress. Then I think I felt that there wasn't quite a moment of introspection enough. It was people within architecture, it was objects within magnificent settings, it was stuff that was there to dazzle, but there were little kind of moments of humanity that kept on creeping in, of introspection, and the one that exemplifies that most for me is the Frans Hals portrait that we have, which is a moment that transcends a lot of this sort of earthly glory. History of luxury goods is very much tied to a history of power, authority. We chose the chairs because they exemplify a very spatial demonstration of power. I'm thinking about objects in terms of how they look, but objects look a particular way because of the times they were created and because of the reasons for creating them in the first place. They exist in a particular state because we valued them in a particular way, we exhibit them in particular ways. All of these reasons are political, economic, social. I'm very interested in highlighting these aspects, and I think that rather than spoil an object, they enrich an object. And so I would hope that the visitor to the exhibitions sees the objects that we're highlighting in a new and complex way. I'm very interested, for the same reason, in architecture and the way we move through it. Like people that visit Chatsworth or visit Nottingham, to understand a little bit through my work how and why architecture makes us move in a particular way, how it controls how we move, why we create buildings that are sometimes theatrical, sometimes contemplative, sometimes bully us into particular ways of walking and ways of experiencing power through the built environment and through decorative objects. There's got to be an element of pleasure. These objects are really fabulous. I think we have to look at these objects in new contexts to try to understand what they mean to us in their original contexts.